Why should we care about Israel? Because the reputation of God is at stake. There is a glaring question in the Bible. Is God a covenant-keeping God? In Genesis 12, God made an everlasting covenant with Abraham, and he confirmed it to Isaac and Jacob. However, there are a growing number of Christians today who dismiss Israel as a rejected and replaced people, considering God's promises to restore them to be null and void. So what happened? Did God go back on his promises? Was he forced to give up on his covenant people and start from scratch? Does man's faithlessness nullify the faithfulness of God? It's an important question to ask because the way God deals with Israel is the way that God deals with us. If he is able to forget his covenant with Israel, then he is also able to forget his covenant with us. But that is not the character of God. Paul wrestles with this question in Romans 11 and states that by no means has God rejected his people. Why is Paul so convinced of this? Because he knows the character of God. When we are faithless, he remains faithful. This is what leads the Apostle Paul to declare that the Messiah has become a servant of the Jews on behalf of God's truth, so that the promises made to the patriarchs might be confirmed. Paul believed that in relation to the Jewish people, the gifts and calling of God are irrevocable. There remains in the plan of God a promised restoration of Israel. There are many opinions today about who are the people of God. Are there two peoples of God? Is Israel his chosen people? Is the church his chosen people? Or has the church merely replaced Israel? The Bible, however, describes the people of God as an olive tree. Paul reminds us that it is not you who support the root, but the root that supports you. If you have faith in the Messiah of Israel, you have been adopted into the family of God and are grafted into the olive tree. We share in their Messiah. As the church, let us not be arrogant and cut ourselves off from the nourishing root. Instead, let us respond in humility and love. What is God's purpose for the relationship between Israel and the nations? Paul continues and states that salvation has come to the Gentiles so as to make Israel jealous. Despite the controversy over the Messiah's identity, the early followers believed that one day Israel as a nation would welcome their Messiah. And this nationwide revival of the Jewish people wouldn't be limited to Israel, but the way Paul put it, it is that the nations would see a great revival. Life from the dead. Through Israel, light has come to the world through the gospel of Jesus and through the Gentiles showing Israel the same mercy. Israel's ongoing restoration becomes a blessing to the whole world. Why would God choose to do things this way? So that God's covenant love, mercy, and desire for reconciliation will be known by all. This is why we care about Israel and the Jewish people. God foretold these events in His Word, and as His promises are faithful to us, He will show His faithfulness to Israel. You have an important role to play in their restoration.